Alright, when it rains, it pours. I mean, when it really rains, it pours. We just had a big thunderstorm come through here and in Sneed's Ferry, and I got a site down doing the exact same thing that I just went yesterday to fix in the last video. Had to go there, unplug the modem, plug the modem back in, and everything back online. Now, I'm in the conversation with the ones at that house, and hopefully they say it's back on, but no. But we'll see. It just, electrical storms locks things up. But that message was not saying it was actually back online. And I'm going to monitor it as I go, and if it turns back on, by golly, I'm going to turn around and head back home. Because it's a 30-minute drive there and back. A whole hour drive just to unplug a modem and plug it back in. Now I'm going to take the lock off the power on this one, and that way I can get them to actually unplug the box, and hopefully that would do it. That's what I'm going to do and see if that will do it. Usually I unplug everything, plug the modem back in, see it back online, then plug in the router, and then everything lights up in that order. But I'm just going to unplug the power and see if it will do that for me that way. If it does, then I can get them to actually go outside and just unplug it and plug it back in. Since it's in their backyard, it's all fenced in. So let's get down there and do this again. Just part of running the business. Never know, electrical storms. In Spectrum service techs says the same thing. They hate to see electrical storms because they know they're getting ready to get busy. Things get fried, things get all locked up. They have to go out there and just unplug everything. It's crazy, but that's the way it goes. So let's go see if that's all this is going to be. Nice and easy. Unplug, plug back in, and call it a day. Well, once again, unplug, plug back in, and it's back online. I try to take the lock off the electrical outlet. I put the key in, it would turn nice and easy, but the top of the lock would not come out. Spray some WD-40 on it, let it sit. I'm going to be here this weekend coming up. Get over here and take that lock off completely, and I'll explain to her why. Because if I had that off of there, she can went out there and unplugged it and plugged it back in and saved me a trip. And she has no problem of doing that for me. And this weekend probably replacing her switches in her little shop that she has. She got like 3 or 4 single switches I got to change in there. Told her I'd do that for her. But other than that, it's just simple of unplugging and plugging back in. Electrical storms will mess things up. I'm just glad it didn't damage anything and have to be down and wait for them to come out and replace that modem or something else out there. I'm glad it's simple as unplugging and plugging back in. That's the kind I like, if it's going to be anything. Don't like coming out here just because something simple like that, but that happens when you own a internet business. Even if I had a battery backup on it, still wouldn't make no difference, because if the power goes out on the other equipment that feeds down the road somewhere, feeds your line, and your modem has to be power cycled so it will synchronize back up, battery backup would not do any good, because it's going to just keep it online, and you still have to come out and power cycle it to get it to synchronize back up. And that's what a technician told me. Said even if you put a battery backup, he says sometimes you still have to come out and do it, because it won't sync up unless you kill the power on it and turn it back on. And I know that's true, because I got one with a battery backup on it, and I've had that exact same issue. And I had to unplug it, plug it back in, and it synchronized up, and it worked. So I'm going back home, and hopefully dinner is done by then, so I can sit down and have a nice meal. I know that I'm not showing you any of the equipment that I'm restarting or anything like that. The main reason for this video is to demonstrate of just how life is running a internet business as a WISP owner. Things happen that is completely out of your control, and it has no warning whatsoever when it's going to do it. We've had storms for weeks around here, basically all of July and a little bit of June. And this is the only second one that I actually had this issue with this time around. Last summer we had to do the same thing, but it's just one of them things that you're going to have to just deal with and handle it as whenever they show up. It's not all about showing the equipment and all that. You already seen the equipment. But this video is mainly to show you how frustrating sometimes it can be when all your equipment is working fine and you have to go out there and reboot the equipment that's giving you internet. Or somebody calls and says their router is not working. And it's a router that you did not provide. Now, whether you decided to go out and fix that issue or not, or try to talk to them on the phone over it, that's totally up to each individual. But things happen that is beyond your control, that you're just going to have to handle it when it shows up. It can be in the middle of the day, it can be in the middle of the night, it can be in the middle of you out with your family eating dinner at a steakhouse, and you start getting text messages, phone calls, emails, tickets through the portal of the software that you use. And bigger the site is, most likely more text texts and emails and phone calls that you're going to get. But it happens. And if you're thinking of getting a WISP business, build one and run it, well, expect things to malfunction from time to time, because it's all electronics. Electrical storms and electronics do not play well together. Usually the electrical storm wins. It'll piss off some equipment and make it lock up. Go out, unplug it, plug it back in. Hopefully that's all it is. Just understand that it's not always a bed of roses of running a WISP business. Some days and weeks it'll go smoothly and everybody's got internet, everything's working very peachy, they say. And the very next day your phone will blow up because so many text messages and everything else. But if you can handle that, then by all means start building your WISP business and enjoy. That's just part of it.